welcome back to another video, the first video of the 2025 winter season. Here you guys go. It is January 2nd. I was about to make a video yesterday, but it was a little bit late and I was enjoying the day. First ice storm and winter storm to bring the biggest impacts of the 2025 winter season and probably even the winter in 2024. So let's get right into this one. There it is. We are out in the west where our storm will be coming from. This is our storm all the way back in here in my yellow. This thing is going to continue to move on shore. And with that, we're going to be talking about a lot of Gulf of California moisture really settling in here across Oregon, Washington, California, Northern California, all these areas. A lot of the mountain regions will be snow, and in the valleys will be most likely rain, as we have a very warm pattern and not a cold winter. And this was kind of expected, where out in the west will be a warmer winter than usual, than average, and then in the less snow for the mountains. Still, you're going to see snow, but it's not going to be as much as previous years. So we're watching this storm make it on shore by probably tonight or tomorrow morning. We'll continue to be taking a look at that. So we're going to take a look at the pattern we are in, because this is a very cold pattern across the eastern and central U.S. There it is, our outlook. So in the next 6 to 10 days, clearly, if you guys are known with the weather, if you guys are in the blue, colder than average, and then in the white, about average, and then in the red, oranges, and yellows, above normal. So if you guys are back in this area where I'm circling right now, you guys are expecting normal temperatures, okay? Normal temperatures, nothing too big, and I don't see any big temperature swings. But if you guys are in the dark red here, across the Oregon, California area, yeah, you guys are expecting way above normal temperatures. And then same thing with the orange, and then the lighter orange, and then even the tan color, where you guys are seeing a little bit above average. So the darker you get is way above average. The lighter you get is just slightly above average. So that's across Oregon, California, Nevada, the corner states, up here in the Montanas, all the way up into probably Canada and even Alaska. But if we change our colors, yeah, we have a much bigger cold outbreak. This is probably the biggest outbreak of cold in the last few years. There it is, you guys. Way below average. Way below, right here. That's across the entire southeast, mid-Atlantic, and that counts in the northeast too. Okay, I remember the northeast. As you get further north, it's colder than your average is colder, and in the south it's warmer for your average. So that's why the colder than average is much further to the south than all the way up here too. Because up in these areas where I'm Xing, your average temperatures are colder, so it's harder to beat the colder average. But still, you're expecting way below average temperatures all the way up into New England, all the way into Texas, Oklahoma, into Illinois, Chicago, the Great Lakes regions, just way below average on your temperatures. And you're talking about 10 to 15 degrees below your average temperatures, most likely. And then you could start, once again, same thing here. Our way below, our below, our moderate below, slight, you get it with the colors. And that goes all the way back in here and all the way up in here. So very below, even for Florida, the Keys, all expecting very below averages temperatures in the next 6 to 10 days. 8 to 14 days, yeah, you're expecting the same thing. The warmth moves a little bit out into now starting like North Dakota, South Dakota, Bismarck, almost into the plains, but not fully in the plains, probably in the western of the plains. We still got our very below average temperatures. You can tell right here, moved a little bit there, but very below average temperatures across these regions. So a very cold pattern is ahead, and this is just day one of the beginning of the pattern. So now I want to take a look and continue to gone up, and we're expecting a very large winter storm from Saturday into Monday. We're expecting ice, snow, rain. Probably rain to the south, but we're expecting a major ice storm where I'm circling here. A major ice storm right here, you guys. We're talking about over a half an inch of ice. Very crucial. And then on top of that, could be some wet snow. So, and even some gusty winds up to 20 to 40 mile an hour wind gust. So, extreme winter storm, a major catastrophic ice storm possibility there too. So, we're still about a few days out. We're not even, fully in this. These areas, the time frame, if you guys are in the central of this, probably, Sunday. This is where the low is Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday. The low could be even further north. Some of the models and guidance has it a little bit more north. Has been trending north. Our snowfall, 12 to 18 inches, very possible for like northern Kansas City. Even Kansas City seeing up to a foot of snow. St. Louis seeing up to 6 to 12 inches. Indianapolis, Omaha up to 3 to 6. Chicago even up to an inch to 2. A lot, Wichita 1 to 3. A lot of these big cities seeing a big snowstorm. This is definitely the bigger snowstorm of the year. And then this is that ice storm. Hazardous travel, trees and power lines weighted down, potentially catastrophic power outages, and then clearly right there, power outages. So if we look back in Wichita, Kansas City, just south of Kansas City, you guys are in significant ice storm potential. Even for the Carolinas mountain regions and parts of the Carolinas, localize some of the upper terrain, but in the mountains, expect significant, even severe. But our severe is like in Evansville, Indiana. All these areas in Kentucky, the Indiana, back in Wichita, all these areas, a major ice storm. Okay, these are the accumulations. Storm max up to 1.25 inches is very possible. Like St. Louis, expecting up to 1/4 inch. Kansas City, 1/4 inch. Wichita, 1/4 inch. Back into the mountains, 1/4 inch, even a 1/2 inch is possible. Roanoke here in Virginia, potentially up to 1/4 inch. And then Lexington, St. Louis, all in these areas expecting a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. Could be even more than a 1/2 inch. So a lot of ice expected. And it's that freezing rain. Remember, freezing rain, it's rain droplets. So it looks like it's raining, but when it hits the surface, it freezes up. And that's where a lot of people get tricked. So if you guys see throughout Saturday through Monday any ice in these regions, if you guys see a wet road, that is probably not a wet road. That's probably a very icy road. So please try and stay off the roads. And even for the plow trucks, it's not a lot they can do, because even in their trucks, remember, it's just sheets of ice. There's no traction like snow. You can get maybe some traction. Same thing with sleet. It's a little bit more traction. But in ice, it's a glaze of ice. It's no traction. Your tires cannot get to the concrete, the cobblestone flooring of the earth. You know what I mean? So very, very cold temperatures. And, these temperatures are going to be talking about in the upper 20s. So the freezing rain will accumulate. So, and then you got our severe storm potential. This is for potential localized tornadoes, isolated, flooding downpours, hail, localized damages, winds 50 to 60, potentially even 70. Just some. It's nothing too big. It's just a slight risk through Sunday and Sunday night. Then we talk about our January 3rd to 12th, our 12 to 25 degrees below historical average. We just talked about this, our Arctic outbreak, blasts of very cold air, all the way down into Atlanta, Georgia, Jacksonville, Shreveport, Nashville, Raleigh, Chicago, Omaha, Fargo, Albany, all across these areas. Extreme cold. Okay. Then our pattern next week, this has kind of been on the table. I don't see too much right now. I see more of an out to sea, but this could bring some snow into the southern states. I'm not really going to talk about it today, but that is the potential. Okay. So now let's get into this. Is today. This is tomorrow. Let's get, this is tomorrow. That storm system starting to make it on shore. We'll make it on shore. Then we see the mountain regions. And then this is about Saturday. This is Saturday. You're starting to see that snow in the west. And then Saturday night, some of that rain, snow, ice line begins. There's the low right here. Will this be further north? Will this be further south? I say right now, if anything, it's going to be more further north. Or it will be about there. But you see that snow starting to make it away in, North Dakota, Bismarck, South Dakota, in the mountain regions. You can be expecting some snow. Okay. We continue to take a look, and there's our low really starting to get going on Sunday. The icon, I'm just going to give you a heads up, does not have the ice. It only has rain and snow. But it's definitely ice in this area. But snow into the northern, there's our low. Some of these isobars very close. There's our reinforcing high up here, bringing that colder air actually. Really helping the pivotal, that cold air, keeping it extremely cold. Another high over here. So a very cold pattern. You can tell by the 540 line. That's usually your below 32 degrees line. Our 10, right there. So a very interesting pattern to come. A very January average, a very January winter feel. Okay. We haven't seen it quite a while, but we do this time. You can tell. It does show rain, but remember, it doesn't show ice. But look at that very heavy snow. We're talking about some very big time severe weather potentially. That big time winter storm. I could see up to 30, 40 mile an hour winds too on top of that. So very gusty winds. We see that snowstorm continue to move. That goes into northern Tennessee, and you even see a line of nasty thunderstorms down here. Look at that. Very nasty line of storms right here. That could be bringing some of that damaging winds, hail, our tornadoes. But look how strong this low is. We're at a 999 right here. Heavy snow on the northern side. Classic. If it was not a blocking pattern here, this thing would have probably went like this. Okay. And then out or just up. And then you see that ice all the way up here. If it was a less of a blocking pattern. We saw it back a few years ago. But the pattern in this storm, a little too much to have that happen. But it does slide. And we see the low go north into the Appalachian Mountains. And we actually get more of a snow event further north that the icon shows. Washington, D.C., instead of seeing that snow, you're probably seeing some of that freezing rain, the rain. We see that snow all the way down to Philly, the line here. Look at that. Very snowy conditions possible. And we're still at a 999. Does it get a little stronger? Does it go a little bit more north? And it's actually a 988. So, my bad. But you can see that continue to move north. We see the snow overspread. This model is a bit more north. And, the trend there has been too. Where we're going to see a low here transitioning to a coastal low. That's been the likely outcome. This is in the next 4 days. So we still got 4 days for those snowfall totals to trend north or south. Right now, we've been having a little trend to the north. You tell across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York City, upstate New York, back in Ohio, even. Seeing some of that very heavy snow. And, we're going to talk about some gustier winds, 10, 20 miles an hour. Might not sound a lot, but when we're talking about ice in the mix, yeah, that's a lot. But we see that low transfer. How quickly does it happen? How far does it happen? It still all depends. But we see our low transfer right here. From here, transfer to there. So we're still seeing that very light to moderate snow, even some heavier snow in the northern regions. The icon model is probably the furthest to the north, okay? It's probably really the furthest to the north. And let's keep going here. We see that storm move out. We see our coastal low, some gustier winds, and boom. That's out by probably Monday night. Monday evening, Monday night. And our low continues to strengthen off the coast. Is a little bit closer. That's just all depending. And then our pattern in the future, yeah. You see maybe a snowstorm. I don't know. It's been trending. Maybe Texas seen in New Orleans. See a snow event out of this. Icon's been showing that too, where we can even see a few inches of snow down here. Does that happen? I don't know. It could. But you can see our very cold pattern to be taking over. Okay? The snowfall out of this here, if we take a look, this is I'm not really going into details because we're just showing the average. But yeah, if you guys are in these areas, I mean, a little bit less if it goes a little bit north. But look, you see 3 inches. You see 3 inches all the way up in PA right here. Probably a widespread 3 to 6 inches right here. 3 to 6, okay? That's probably what the icon shows. A little bit more north, okay? But I don't think it'll be that north, okay? I just don't think it'll be that north. But if we take a look at some other models here, is the GFS. Okay, let's not. We really see this right here. We see our storm to come in. Boom, there's the ice storm. That's what I was talking about. Through the January 5th period. And then this is going to be Monday. Monday's January 6th, by the way. By the way, Monday Night Raw is on Netflix. That is the day 2. So just stay in and watch WWE if you guys are into that. Just a little side note right there. But besides that, we see our major ice storm, our major snowstorm. A lot of wind to go around, a lot of snow, a lot of ice, and a lot of severe weather. And you can see here on the GFS more of the streak lines. That could be more of a supercell issue. But even, Tennessee, seeing more of that rain on the GFS. And if we compare the icon position of this, the icon was a bit more north and a little bit more faster. The GFS is about the same of fast, actually, but a little bit more south. And you can see that it does transition to the north. Now you see Washington, D.C. seeing that. Ice, sleet, freezing rain, snow on the frontal. And usually this storm will go like north. But we have a blocking high right here and a low up there. But we see a lot of snow to go around. We see the storm continue to move its way in. And then you actually can see, just like the icon of just a little bit more south, we see a snow event. We see our bigger totals into southern areas of Pennsylvania, but northern Maryland, New Jersey, probably 6 to 12 inches potentially on the GFS. But further north, 3 to 6 inches. Does that happen? The trend has been there, and, we see our low continue to move off the coast. This model has a little further out. If it's a little bit more closer, a little bit more snow. But then you still see our snow right there. Then, once again, we're only going to go out like 240, all right? We see another snowstorm potential. This one's a little bit stronger. We see more of that ice, freezing rain, and then boom. there is that look. And, that's 150 hours out now, you guys. We're really starting to look, a little bit into about a week now. And we're getting closer into a week. And could we see a southern snowstorm? That's trending too. And if we take a look at our total snowfall here, yeah, you see a big amount of snow. I mean, you're looking at, let's take a look at the eastern United States, okay? Let's look at the trend, up to, some of these areas, 15 inches. But let's take a look about 5 runs ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right? Look how far the track has been. We were talking about up in North Carolina here. All right? And that, or like 3-inch line up to here. That was like 5 runs ago. A day and a half ago. I mean, I was really like, okay, now we're not seeing a snowstorm. But let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Now you see our 6 to 12 inches line is now crossing Philadelphia. And then right here. Look at that. I actually want to keep the box there. We're going to keep the box there. And we're going to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that. Especially across here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There has been a trend north. Okay, we're going to have to continue to watch that trend. The ice, too, on the GFS. If we take a look at GFS and take a look here. Freezing rain. Boom. Our freezing rain here. Look at that. Southern areas here, even into the mid-Atlantic. Up to potentially a half an inch of ice. A lot of these areas, almost a half an inch of ice. In some of these areas, almost an inch of ice, you guys. This is very major. Some of these mountains, over an inch of ice. This is, remember, like I said earlier, the ice you cannot drive in at all. So, extremely dangerous. And then our total snow accumulations, we already looked at that. Boom. Just so much further north. Okay, you guys. But let's take a look at another model to help with the trend, because it's not just the GFS that has been trending north. It's been the Euro. They all have trended north too. And the trend, how much will it continue to trend? I don't know. But we see the same thing there too. Latest Canadian a little bit more north, I feel. See, look, from last few runs ago, and look, it really has trended north and quicker. And we see, that snow all the way into now. We see snow here. We see snow almost making it to New York City. Our low is up here, even further north than the GFS. And the GFS has been trending north too. Even snow back into Tennessee. This is a pretty dynamic storm system. Does it get a little stronger than thought? It's possible. I'm not rolling it out, but there it is. We see our snow just like the icon. There's our low right here. A little bit weaker, not a 998, but 1,000 millibars. Still enough. And we see our snow all the way into New York City, upstate New York, into Tennessee. Look at that. A very dynamic storm. Do we see a run like this? That's very possible. Do we see that freezing rain again? And then our severe weather down into Georgia, South Carolina, potentially. But, this looks like light to heavy snow possible, light to moderate. And then we see our low transfer a little bit quicker. So our low is back here. And we see that back end snow. New York could see 1 inch or 2. We see our snow event right there. So, if we take a look into a little bit further, let's do that. And boom, our coastal like that, leaves some snow. And then, do we see our snow potential there too? That's possible. Do Florida see snow? That's possible. Okay, we are not worried about that until we get this system done. Okay, we just can't worry about it. Okay, But if you guys are in the south, hey, look at it. Keep a watch on it. But let's take a look at our snowfall, too. Because, I'm trying to show you guys there has been a trend. And I'm showing you guys the models here. And look at that. Boom. This is that latest model. And, it's more north than the GFS. We have that 6 to 12 inch, 6 to 8 inch line like here. All the way into northern Philly now. GFS is about here in this line right here. So the trend has been north. Do we continue to see a trend? We see, 2 to 4 inches up to here. Potentially. New York getting a few inches. That's very possible. Okay? We're just going to have to look. But let's go back. Let's actually make the box again. Let's make this lovely box. Alright. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's that. Wow. Where did it go? The snow event. Much more further south. Let's go back up again. That was 4 runs ago. We're talking about our snow being all the way down here. Okay. 1, 2. Look at that. That trending has been more aggressive and north. Okay. There has been a trend. Let's take a look at the European. Why not? Alright. Oh. We're going to take a look at the new Euro model. Okay. We're going to get Mid-Atlantic. It's very hard with this because pivotal weather does a little different. So let's go into the Ohio Valley area, okay? Let's do the Ohio Valley. And then we'll do the Mid-Atlantic, okay? And by the way, this video is a bit longer, but I am giving you guys quite a bit of information too. And I haven't been here for a while, so hope you guys enjoy and like the video. So there it is. Our snow potential. Once again, same thing out of the west. Like I said with the other models. This is that latest Euro model. Okay. And there it is. A lot of snow and that freezing rain. Especially for Evansville, Indiana, too. A lot of freezing rain. Some heavy freezing rain, too. 2001. We see our low a bit north, too, on this model. And we see that take over into the west and then out. If we take a look at snowfall, it doesn't have freezing rain. I am very sorry about that. Doesn't have freezing rain. But our snowfall totals, and boom, we're going to make the same box again. Okay, we're just going to make the same box. Actually, I'm just going to make a line. Let's go back. 12Z run of yesterday. Okay, let this all load in. Okay. Look at that. Bow. It was about over here. It's very hard to get it, but you look at that and wow, the trend has been north. Okay, that's the main thing I'm trying to get out of here. If we go to the northeast, now let's go into the regions, and now let's go to Mid-Atlantic, because this is where that snowstorm is really going to be potentially the strongest right now. And Let's go into the surface. Okay. And boom. We're gonna want... I said... Okay. Right there. Now let's go like this. Let's watch this snowstorm. Boom. And yeah, maybe not as far north reaching. I don't think. I don't see really that. I mean, there it is, our snowstorm. You know, it does reach into New York, northern Pennsylvania. Maybe not as far as the Canadian, not as far as the Icon, but not as south as the GFS, if that makes sense. Actually, GFS is a little bit more north. But there it is. And then our coastal quickly out. Alright. We take a look at the total snowfall and do the same thing with comparison. We'll compare on a different... Let's just compare the 12Z. Let's just look at the 12Z and see where we're at. Yeah, our snow is actually pretty far south. Our heavy snow. I mean, probably actually the furthest model to the south. Look at that. Our 6-inch line right there. Now let's keep that straight. And let's go a day ago. Let's see if anything has changed. I mean, to me, it looks like our snowfall is much more south on the Euro. Oh, wait. Wait, that was Wednesday. Never mind. Okay, you guys. I'm sorry. That was on Wednesday. Now, actually, let's take a look at the Thursday forecast. So, we're leaving it right there. Come on. So, yeah, we were talking about not even near Philly. And wow, okay, so it did trend north too. We see our, instead of our line all the way down here, okay, we see our 6-inch line all the way here. So from here to there is a big difference. So that's trending north. And you can tell, you know, even to central PA, 2 to 4 inches. New York, maybe an inch.